concerned with altars of whiteness in every American school, police station, courthouse, bank, and legislative hall. Whiteness is not God. It is a Western idol, a symbol created in the image of overprivileged idolaters. White supremacy even inhabits our houses of worship. Harry Emerson Fosdick wrote, "Christianity is not a finished set of propositions to be accepted, but an unfinished task to be completed. It is not a matter of if Christianity is true, but how we can make it true." Much of what we have seen on display in white evangelical Christianity is untrue, empty, fraudulent, vacuous, anemic approximation of what Christianity really is. While some white evangelical leaders denounce the nationalist movement on TV, countless numbers of white pastors retreated to silence, not saying a word. Note that none of the members of President Trump's advisory committee, including people like Paula White, David Jeremiah, A.R. Bernard, none of them have resigned. The only way churches integrate with great degree in America is when they have a white pastor. These so-called multicultural churches are symbols of our weakness to recognize subliminal or unconscious racism. Black people are always willing to assimilate, while their white counterparts simply refuse to. They will say, "You can come here, but we ain't going there." And then they say, "You can come here if you be good," and never object to anything we do or we say. The silence of these white evangelicals screams with clarity to us this morning. Their brand of Christianity is not our brand of Christianity. Ours is a liberation theology given to us by a dark-skinned Jew of African descent. Jesus never enjoyed the privilege of his Roman oppressors. Even though he was the Son of God, he lived his life amongst the common people who stood against the tyranny and the demoralization of the dominant culture. He died as an innocent victim of a bogus justice system that racially profiled him. He hung on the cross the same way Emmett Till hung on a rope. There's something duplicitous, according to Reverend Francois, about a Christianity that fights so-called radical Islamic terrorism, but cannot categorically condemn white supremacist Christian terrorism in Charlottesville. Something rings hollow about a Christianity that is profiled toward unbound children, pro-life towards unborn children, but supports cradle-to-prison pipelines after their birth. There's something empty about a Christianity that follows the teaching of a convicted man like Jesus, but provides cover for a system that warehouses black bodies like slavery in prisons across America. There's something fraudulent about a Christianity that espouses the love of neighbor, but attempts to snatch health care from 22 million Americans. There's something wrong about bigoted policies aimed at ending affirmative action. White supremacy is alive and well in the United States of America. Donald Trump is using the old Jim Crow tactics to usher in a new era of racism. The Trump administration has proved that they cannot govern by legislation. Therefore, they govern by suggestion. Governance by suggestion is an old Jim Crow tactic where violence and white supremacy are active social norms. What happened in Charlottesville was a violent and profound expression of history, the result of a social, political, and economic system founded in the genocide of African and indigenous peoples. The country has never systematically faced or sought to repair the immense and ongoing harm produced by the transatlantic slave trade. This evil system served as the foundation for our social, political, and economic system that continues to rule still today. Only in America are there monuments to men who acted in treason against a sovereign government. Memphis is among the worst, with a statue of Nathan Bedford Forrest, the founder of the Ku Klux Klan, prominently displayed in downtown Memphis. There are no statues of Adolf Hitler in Germany. There are no statues of Benito Mussolini in Italy. There are no statues of Benedict Arnold in America. When you are defeated and lose a war to a nation, you get no statues. You get no honor. The Confederacy was a defeated nation. A group of 11 extremist secessionist states that decided they didn't want to be Americans anymore. And they deserve what they got, to be erased from the books of history. It is the aroma of white supremacy and a bygone era of white superiority that fuse this love of the Confederacy and its flag. It's not the love of history. It is their love of what the Confederacy stood for. And they have waited a long time for a new Messiah to come and rekindle the passion of Dixie once again, and his name is Donald J. Trump. It's 2017, and we see white men marching with torches, shouting, "The Jews will not replace us." Those torches signifying those night riders who used to stalk black people with fury and vengeance, who refused to acknowledge our humanity, who ripped us from our homes and lynched us. Jim Porter, the former president of the Ku Klux Klan, said just 2 years ago he believed that one day they would be able to own colored people again. Those torches and flags represented the worst emblems of American bigotry. The dog whistle was blown and the mutts came out, embracing the ideology of Adolf Hitler, clinging to the misguided ignorance of the Ku Klux Klan, led by the appeal of Steve Bannon's white nationalist movement. They want to turn back the hands of time. They want to return to the antebellum South. They want mint juleps to drink as they watch their darkies work in the field. They want to put us in our place. They want to shoot and kill border crossers as sport. They view immigrants as targets. This is the America that they desire, but this is not the America that they will get. We are not going back. We are not going backwards. We are not returning to those times again. There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Justice. His deputy is called Equality. You will never again intimidate us. We will not sit idly by, nor will we go quietly into the night. You will not burn crosses in our yard while we peek out the window at you. We're not singing "We Shall Overcome Again" because we already overcame. And I ain't sitting by a campfire and singing "Kumbaya" with you either. We have paid the price for our freedom and our rights. Before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and gone on home to be with my God. This nation was paid for by unpaid slave labor. Our blood fertilizes its fields. Our sweat lubricates industry. Our blackness gave this country its only art forms: blues, jazz, and gospel. Without us, America would not be America. We did not come to America on the Nina or the Pinta or the Santa Maria, and we did not come to America by way of Ellis Island. You stole us from Africa and brought us here. Now deal with us. So now we sing louder than you. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. You are not dealing with Sambo, Buckwheat, Step and Fetch It, Mantan, Moten, Aunt Jemima, or Uncle Ben. You're not dealing with my grandfather. You're dealing with me. You're now dealing with lawyers, doctors, generals, admirals, soldiers, SEALs, Marines, Green Berets. You're dealing with astronauts, astrophysicists, nuclear scientists, mathematicians, educators, politicians. We are not our grandparents, nor are we our great-great-grandparents. You don't scare us. I'm not your boy, and you'll never be my master. People of goodwill are joining together. Black people, white people, native people, Latin people, Asian people. We are the new fabric of America. America is no longer a melting pot. It's a stew, a big, beautiful stew. It's not only white, it's black, it's brown, it's red, it's yellow, it's male, it's female, it's Jew, it's Gentile, it's young, it's old. This is a different America than 75 years ago. Black people have saved America from her hypocrisy and her poisonous history of proclaiming liberty and justice for all. It was us. We made America live up to our creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I feel like Jeremiah this morning. The prophet Jeremiah lamented because he was sent to a people that had no heart and no compassion and no understanding of the God they pretended to serve. Jeremiah preached about the woes of the nation, falling on deaf ears. Jeremiah cried, assuming that his efforts had failed and his cause was useless. And he tried to quit, and he sat down, but he found his calling in the glimmer of faith. He said it was like fire shut up in his bones. He realized it wasn't important for them to agree with him. It was only important for them to hear what he had to say. So I speak this morning. I'm saying what God told me to say. And some of my own folk may get angry with me and may not understand what I'm saying, but I crossed the Pettus Bridge. I demonstrated in the streets of America. I ain't going back to those days any longer. I am not that same person I was 50 years ago. We will never be complicit with the sin of racism in America. We will speak today as Jeremiah spoke. We speak truth in the presence of lies. We speak righteousness in the presence of evil. We speak justice in the presence of injustice. We speak wellness in the presence of infirmity. We speak freedom in the presence of incarceration. We speak hope in the presence of hopelessness. We speak salvation in the presence of the lost. We took the words of Jesus literally, not figuratively. We stepped out on faith and marched in the streets of Montgomery and Birmingham and Memphis and Chicago. And we crossed the Pettus Bridge in Alabama to the state capitol. We heard Martin preach from the Lincoln Memorial, and we watched him die on a Memphis balcony. We've come too far to turn back now. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. Why? Because he never failed me yet. I can't turn around. We've come this far by faith. I can't go back. I refuse to go back. I will not go back. I am not your Negro. I am not your colored man. I am an African American, intelligent, well-read, studied, and prepared to take care of me and my family. I know. As it was in the days when King came to Memphis. Play some, y'all. There'll always be those who will give out a call for unity, and I agreed years ago. But what's happening to America today, and I'm going to close on this, is a stealthy, covert, insidious racism that is alive and well in America. Trump did not get elected by voting for himself. Millions of people voted for him, and they sit back now quietly in their wingback chairs and in their minivans headed to the soccer fields, supportive, complicit with the hatred and bigotry they saw in Charlottesville. It'll be your fault if you don't wake up and realize there is a new spring of racism that is existing in America today. And we can't go back. In 1964, my grandmother called me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Get up, boy. This is it. I'm getting dressed. I said, Grandma, the polls don't open till 7. She said, I don't want to be there at 7. I want to be there at 6. I went to pick that old woman up. She was 62 years old. And she'd never been afforded the opportunity to vote. She put on the best dress that she had. She put on the prettiest hat that she owned. She was so proud. I took her to the Van Street Library. You've never seen a walk such as that. With that purse over her arm. And that day the sisters wore white gloves. Purse here and her white gloves. And I walked with her into the door. And they said, name please. Mary Atkins. Middle name? No, Mary Atkins. Where do you live? 1656 Riverside. There was a tone of arrogance in her voice. That day they didn't have the electronic machines. They gave you a card of paper. And before she went in there, she had a 3rd grade education. She could read a little. And she was looking for the names of Lyndon Baines Johnson. She said, boy, is that it right there? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, all right. She walked in that booth and voted. But when she came out, she had a different step. She came out. She had tried to vote since the age of 21 in Greenwood, Mississippi. It took her 41 years before she finally got to vote. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. And that's why I say to you this day, nothing will ever take me back to that time again. So if you feel like I do, you'll not want to hurt anybody or hate anybody. Ours is not a mission to start a war. Ours is a mission to take care of us. Ours is a mission to stand our ground. Ours is not a mission to wreak havoc or instigate violence. Ours is a mission to stand in the fullness of our American citizenship. That I would not relinquish the rights that my forefathers fought and died for. And I would not relinquish the rights that 4 little girls died in Birmingham for the 16th Street Baptist Church. I will not relinquish my rights that I have. When I think about Medgar Evers and so many others of our heroes who died for the cause of our freedom to be able to vote and have our full citizenship in America, I stand on these facts. I'm God's child. I'm God's child. I'm God's child. And no weapon formed against me shall prosper. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Though the enemy may encamp around me and against me, I will not be afraid. The Lord is my refuge and my strength in a time of trouble. I'm a child of God, and I'm an American citizen, and I will live and die for my rights as a citizen of this country.